Ren's footsteps echoed on the wet pavement as he trudged from the garage, his coveralls still reeking of oil and metal.
Aya had said she was working late, so why was her hair shimmering inside that cafe?
He froze by the window. She sat across from a tall man, her laugh spilling out with champagne.
You really know how to treat a lady, Takeda.
Only because you deserve the best, Aya.
Takeda. That smug, arrogant.
And then the man's hand cupped her chin, drawing her into a kiss that shattered the quiet night.
I can't. This isn't real.
He staggered backward, his heart a lead weight. His feet carried him away before he could make a sound.
3 years of hiding. And this is what I find. The ghost would never have let this happen.
3 years ago, the name Ghost sent shivers through every underground circuit. Ren stood on that podium, rain of flashbulbs, an arrogance that seemed unbreakable, until the night his world ended at turn 4. The crash that should have killed him. But it wasn't his hand that reached from the flames. It was his older brother, sacrificing himself. Ren disappeared, buried the ghost in a quiet garage under oil-stained overalls, and a name no one would search for.
I promised him I'd leave that life behind.
But the glove still sat in a dusty box, waiting.
Maybe I broke that promise tonight.
The man who walked into the garage tomorrow would still be just a mechanic. For now, back in his cramped apartment, Ren couldn't shake the image of that kiss.
Just one call, she'll explain. It has to be a misunderstanding.
He dialed. It rang and rang. Then voicemail. No callback. At that same moment, Aya was updating her social page. Ren's phone buzzed. Her latest post flashed across his screen. Upgraded. Old ring. Meet trash. With a ring and trash emoji.
She broke our engagement on social media for everyone to see.
His hand went limp. The phone clattered to the floor. In the silence, his eyes drifted to the closet. To a dusty box he hadn't touched in 3 years. Inside lay his old racing gloves. Black leather, teal accents, still stained with oil and memory.
He held them, and for the first time in years, he felt something other than guilt.
The next morning, Ren arrived at the garage before anyone else. He buried himself under a sedan, hoping the work would drown out the noise.
Ren, you look like you haven't slept. What's going on?
Just a rough night. I am fine.
You've never been a good liar. Did something happen with Aya?
Before he could answer, the roar of a high-end engine echoed through the bay. A red sports car pulled in, gleaming under the lights. Aya stepped out first, her heels clicking on the concrete. Takeda followed, arms slung around her waist.
Ren, darling, still working on the same old wrecks?
Make sure you don't scratch my paint, mechanic. This car costs more than your entire life.
Kenji's fists clenched, but Ren just slid deeper under the car, his breathing shallow.
Just wait it out. They'll leave.
The moment Takeda's car disappeared, Kenji yanked Ren into the break room and slammed the door.
What the hell was that? You are just going to let them walk all over you.
She was my fiancée until last night. That post, she ended it publicly.
And the guy, Takeda, the racer. You know him.
He idolized the ghost. Doesn't know it's me, but he took everything else. If I race again, it'll be my brother all over. I can't.
Your brother would hate seeing you like this, a doormat for some rich punk.
You don't get it. His death was my fault. I won't risk it again.
Kenji stared at him, a long, painful silence stretching between them. Then, without another word, he stormed out.
He's right, but I am not the ghost anymore. I am just the mechanic who lost.
Days later, the garage's small television flickered with a racing segment. Takeda's face filled the screen.
Some people just don't have it. Like that mechanic whose girl upgraded to a real racer.
He's naming me without saying it. The whole city will know.
The wrench snapped in his grip. No one noticed. Then a promo. Rising Star Grand Prix. Open entry. Prove you have what it takes.
I saw the broadcast. Takeda's scum. But I found a way to shut him up.
What do you mean?
I entered you in the Grand Prix under an alias. Nobody will know.
The name glowed like a dare. Shadow. The suit and helmet waited. Ren just stared.
He's forcing my hand, but part of me wants to grab that wheel, just this once. Not for the prize, to get proof of Takeda's dirty tricks.
Race night. The underground lot pulsed with exhaust and noise. Ren's heart hammered, but his hands were steady. The flag dropped. Rubber screamed. In 3 corners, he left the pack behind.
It's like riding a ghost. Every corner, every gear, still with me.
He crossed the finish line with a gap so wide, no one dared challenge it. Shadow had won, before anyone could surround him. Ren vanished into the night, helmet never removed. Across town, at a VIP party, Aya's phone lit up with race footage. She froze, champagne untouched.
That drifting style. The precision, I've only ever seen one person move like that.
But it couldn't be. The ghost was dead. Wasn't he? By morning, number Ghost Returns trended nationwide. The mechanic's victory had become a ghost story. In a hidden warehouse, Takeda circled his real weapon, a nitrous system buried under a false firewall.
Ghost returns. Some shop rag gets lucky once, and the world loses its mind. Shadow's nothing, still. I won't leave anything to chance. This edge stays hidden until the final lap.
Later that night, while checking the gray car, Ren's fingers struck something cold and wrong.
A tracer. So Takeda's boys know Shadow, but they have no idea I am the ghost. I am going to his garage. Takeda thinks he can track me. I'll walk in as the mechanic he humiliated.
Are you crazy? You'll blow your cover before the next race. He'll bury you.
Let him try. I am done being a doormat. This ends now on my terms.
Kenji grabbed his arm, but Ren shook him off. The mechanic's footsteps echoed toward the door. He didn't need a helmet tonight, just the truth. And a reckoning he could no longer postpone. The invitation had been a careless taunt, but Ren walked into the party anyway. Chandeliers glittered, but his eyes were stone.
Look who crawled out of the gutter. The mechanic. Did you bring your wrench to fix the champagne fountain?
How pathetic. He still can't let go.
I found your little tracker, Takeda. And I know your engine isn't regulation. This isn't about her anymore.
Accusations from a grease monkey. You have no proof, no power. What are you going to do? File a complaint?
I'll prove it on the track. And when I do, everyone will see what you really are.
On the track. You can barely change a tire. This isn't your world.
For a heartbeat, they locked eyes. Then Ren turned away, and the crowd parted. Outside the club, the cold air hit like a verdict. The tracer blinked in his fist.
She almost believed me. Maybe she's still in there somewhere. But it's too late for that.
Ren returned to the garage before midnight. Kenji was already there, tools laid out and waiting.
Heard about the party. You finally grew a spine. Now, let's give your car the bite to match.
They didn't stop until the sun crawled over the rooftops. The engine, once a ghost, hummed with new fury.
I'll get coffee. Rest your arms for 5 minutes. You've earned it.
As Kenji's footsteps faded, another set approached, hesitant, out of place.
Ren, I need to talk, please.
She looks like she hasn't slept. So what? The time for talking is over.
He didn't answer. The welding torch hissed, sparks raining on the floor.
Fine. But I am not your enemy, Ren. Not really.
Her footsteps faded. Ren's hands never stopped moving. The race was all that mattered now. Aya returned to Takeda's penthouse, forcing a smile she didn't feel. She needed answers.
Takeda, that mechanic, you are not really threatened by him, are you?
Threatened. Don't insult me. He's just a wrench monkey, but I'll make an example of him.
Later that night, passing by the warehouse, muffled voices stopped her cold. Inside, a mechanic's voice. The nitrous is loaded. That Shadow racer won't stand a chance.
Nitrous. And they know Shadow is Ren. This is worse than I thought.
She confronted Takeda alone, her phone already recording every word.
You caught me. Yeah, I am using nitrous. And when I beat that shadow, I'll make sure the whole world knows he's a pathetic nobody who should have stayed under a rock.
I have to do something. This is my chance to make it right.
Outside, a giant digital billboard flashed. Ghost vs. Takeda. Aya clutched the recording like a weapon, her face pale but resolved. The next morning, Takeda arrived at the garage not as a customer, but as a predator. His smirk cut through the oil-scented air.
Surprised, I did a little digging. Imagine my shock when I found this. The great ghost, hiding in a junkyard. Pathetic.
Where did you get that?
I have people everywhere. Now, here's the deal. You drop out of the race, or I destroy your life. Your garage, your reputation, gone.
You think I'll just roll over after everything?
You have no choice. Back out, or watch everything you built burn.
Takeda climbed into his red car, the engine roaring like a beast. The threat hung in the air, heavy as exhaust.
He knows I am the ghost. If I race, he'll destroy me. But if I don't, I'll never face my brother again.
For the first time, Ren realized he couldn't protect his secret anymore. The only way out was through the fire. Late that evening, as Ren brooded by the workbench, Kenji's phone lit up with a file. The sender, Aya. A short message accompanied it. Play it for Ren. He won't listen to me, but he might listen to this. Kenji pressed play, heard the first words, and immediately went to find Ren in the main garage.
Takeda's voice, clear as day, bragging about the nitrous. She actually recorded it.
The dusty television, always on as background noise, suddenly displayed the race promo. Ghost versus Takeda. 3 days left. Through the grimy window, the same words glared from the giant billboard outside. A neon dare.
The recording can disqualify him, but it won't give me back my name. Only the race can do that. So I'll race as the ghost. No masks, no shadows, just me and the track.
He picked up his phone, ignoring Kenji's worried look, and dialed the number for the local news station.
Set up a press conference. Tomorrow noon. I am announcing my return.
The next day, dozens of cameras pointed at a single podium. Ren stepped up, face bare under the bright lights.
My name is Ren. 3 years ago, I was known as the Ghost.
A collective gasp rippled through the crowd, then furious flashes and shouted questions.
I faked my death after a crash killed my brother. I've been hiding as a mechanic ever since.
Across town, Takeda watched the broadcast, his champagne glass frozen halfway to his lips.
He actually did it. The ghost. The man I humiliated. He's back.
At the back of the press room, Aya stood unnoticed, her hand clamped over her mouth.
He's the ghost, and I threw him away for a liar and a cheat.
Now, I challenge Takeda to a final race. No masks, no tricks, just speed.
The room erupted. Ghost returns soared to #1 worldwide. The race was set, and the city held its breath. Race week arrived, and every hour was a battle. Ren and Kenji barely slept, wrenching the gray car into fighting shape. But the night before the race, shadows moved in the dark. Takeda's men slipped into the garage, tools like fangs. Dawn broke, and Ren's scream split the silence. The engine block was cracked. Sabotage.
He knew we'd win, so he stole it from us before we even started.
We can't fix this in time. The part is custom. Even if we ordered, it'd take weeks.
An hour later, a courier dropped a box at the door. No sender. Inside, the exact replacement part, and a note. The note bore only 3 words: win for him.
Aya. She's still trying to make amends. But this isn't forgiveness, it's a chance.
They worked through the final hours, the engine roaring to life as the sun set. On race morning, Ren pulled on his suit.
For my brother. And for the truth that's been buried too long. It all ends today.
The qualifying heat roared to life. Ren's gray car shuddered on the line, still wounded from sabotage. Takeda's red machine shot ahead, a hidden burst of nitrous pushing him far beyond regulation limits.
The engine is still stabilizing. I can't push it yet.
Lap after lap, Ren nursed the car, sacrificing speed just to keep the engine alive. When the checkered flag fell, Ren qualified last, barely slipping into the main event. Takeda laughed from pole.
All that hype, and he can barely qualify. Time to end the ghost once and for all.
The crowd roared as the final race was announced. The grid formed under searing floodlights. Destiny, poised on hot asphalt. Ren pulled his wounded machine onto the grid, the engine humming an uncertain, fragile tune. The starting lights flickered on. One by one, each red glow a heartbeat. Tension gripped the air like a vice. Everything rested on the next 60 seconds. But before the lights could turn, a commotion stirred on the grid. Aya pushed past officials, her face desperate.
Ren, stop. Before you go out there, take this, please.
She pressed a small recorder into his gloved palm, the one with Takeda's damning confession.
The recording of his nitrous boast. One play, and Takeda is done.
He played it just once. Takeda's arrogant voice filled the cockpit. Then, silence. He didn't hesitate. The delete button flashed. The evidence vanished into the ether.
Why? That could have ended him without you ever needing to risk your life.
Because I am not him. I win on the track, not in a courtroom. For my brother.
He glanced at the photo tucked beside the speedometer. His brother, forever young, forever waiting, at the finish line. Aya stepped back. No words left. The engine's growl rose as the red lights began to flicker green. The gray car lurched forward, engine shrieking, fighting for every inch of asphalt. Takeda's red machine screamed ahead, the hidden nitrous pushing him to a savage speed.
His engine screams, but each vibration is a knife. Hold together.
Lap after lap, Takeda's laugh crackled over the radio. You are slower than ever, Ghost.
My brother gave his life for me to be here. I can't let fear be his legacy.
Final lap. Ren took a breath that tasted like ozone in memory, then dove for the inside line. A drift that defied physics, scorched rubber, and a wall of smoke as he slid past.
No! I'll burn him before I lose.
A blinding flash. The red car's engine bay erupted, a fireball swallowing the rear as it spun helplessly. Ren crossed the finish line alone, the checkered flag whipping in a silent roar. The ghost had returned. The gray car rolled to a stop in Victory Lane. Silence. Then a single camera flash. Ren climbed out, helmet still on. The crowd leaned forward, the world holding its breath. He reached up, unlatched the visor, and pulled the helmet free. His face, scarred and unbroken, met the lights. The circuit erupted in a deafening roar. Officials swarmed the smoldering red wreck. They pried open the firewall and found the nitrous canister. Takeda was pulled from the cockpit, his shouts of protest dying under the weight of the evidence.
This victory isn't mine. It belongs to my brother, who gave me a second chance.
In the VIP box, Aya stood motionless, tears tracking through her perfect makeup. She whispered something no one heard, then turned away, swallowed by the crowd. Ren descended the podium alone, trophy in hand, walking past the cameras into the tunnel's shadow. The next morning, the garage was quiet. Only the dusty trophy on the workbench betrayed the chaos outside.
Your phone's been exploding. Sponsors, reporters, even a movie deal. Everyone wants the ghost.
I am not the ghost anymore. I am just a mechanic who won a race.
Fine. Then I'll be the manager of a mechanic who won a race.
Aya's message arrived later. I am so sorry, Ren. He read it once, then pressed delete. The thread vanished as if it never existed. The news confirmed Takeda's lifetime ban, his name purged from every leaderboard. Ren walked to the garage door, flipped the sign from closed to open. Sunlight spilled in, warm and forgiving. Outside, the world moved on, but inside, He had found his place.
This garage is all I need. My brother would be proud.
Months later, a new sign hung above the garage. Ghost Auto Works. Inside, Ren and Kenji taught a crew of young mechanics, their laughter oil-stained and bright.
Speed fades. The engine that matters is the one in here.
He still raced on quiet weekends, not for glory, but for the ghost-riding shotgun. Sometimes, a familiar pink-haired woman watched from across the street. Hidden behind dark glasses, she never crossed the road. The past was a lane she'd already closed. Inside, Ren polished an old helmet, its ghost logo catching the last light of day.
For you, brother. Every lap, every lesson.
You know, for a guy who hates attention, you are pretty good at being a legend.
As the sun dipped below the sign, Ghost Auto Works hummed with something rarer than victory. Peace. One quiet afternoon, Ren lifted his brother's old helmet from the workbench. He placed it on a shelf beneath the Ghost Auto Works sign. He wiped the visor one last time, then stepped outside into the golden hour. A cluster of neighborhood kids had gathered by the garage door, eyes wide, holding toy cars.
You want to learn how to be fast? It starts with knowing how to build.
He grabbed his own helmet, the one with the ghost, and jerked his thumb toward the track. They followed like a small parade, laughter mixing with the hum of a far engine. On the empty circuit, he taught them not about winning, but about craft, patience, and the courage to let go. As the sun set, they sat on the bleachers, a new generation looking at the track with dreams. The ghost logo on his helmet caught the last light, and for a moment, it seemed to smile. Then the image faded to black, leaving only the quiet hum of a city that would never forget.